How now shall we live? Tricks in lab. When Katie mocked her father Dave's Christian beliefs, she specifically mentioned that scientists have synthesized organic matter to build life in the laboratory. What's going on? Almost all books about the origin and evolution of life today mention an experiment, the Miller-Urey experiment. Stanley Lloyd Miller was an American chemist who studied under Nobel Prize winner Harold Urey at the University of Chicago. In 1953, Miller and Urey conducted an experiment at the University of Chicago to explore whether the basic organic molecules of life, such as amino acids, could be naturally generated through chemical reactions under conditions on the early Earth. Miller designed a closed glass device to simulate the atmosphere and water circulation system of the early Earth. First, methane, ammonia and hydrogen were injected into the closed device, water was heated to simulate ocean evaporation, and electric sparks were used to simulate lightning. Then, the gas was cooled with a condenser to simulate the condensation and reflux of water vapor, thus forming a cycle. After a week of operation, the experimental results showed that a variety of organic compounds were generated, including amino acids and other basic substances that can build life. The scientific community generally believes that the Miller-Urey experiment proved for the first time that the basic components of life, such as amino acids, can be naturally generated through chemical processes under natural conditions without life. The experiment provides important experimental support for the primordial soup hypothesis, which holds that the basic chemical components of life may have originated from the chemical environment of the early Earth. The Miller-Urey experiment is considered an important milestone in the study of the origin of life and provides profound inspiration for understanding chemical evolution and the chemical basis of life. To build life, amino acids alone are not enough, they must also be linked together to form proteins. In this field of research, American biochemist Sidney W. Fox is renowned. Fox mainly studies how to generate primitive structures similar to life from simple organic compounds. He heated monomeric amino acids to about 170 degrees Celsius and observed their changes in an anhydrous environment. Amino acids formed short-chain polypeptides, proteinoids, through dehydration-condensation reactions. These polypeptides are primitive forms of proteins and may be precursors to the chemical evolution of life. The scientific community generally believes that Fox's experiment shows that simple organic molecules on the early Earth can form complex molecules and lifelike structures through physical and chemical processes under natural conditions. These findings provide important support for the chemical evolution theory of the origin of life, especially the transition process from inorganic to organic and from simple to complex. Although controversial, the Miller-Urey experiment and Sidney W. Fox's experiment were respected by mainstream science. Their influence also spread to the field of public education, making many children like Katie believe it. Many people like to watch magic shows. They know they are fake, but they can't see the flaws. Magicians are very good at using words, actions, clothes, environment and various props to attract the audience's attention to what the magician wants them to see, while cleverly hiding the secrets that they don't want the audience to know. This is the characteristic of some scientists' scientific experiments, such as Miller's amino acid experiment and Sidney W. Fox's protein experiment. Charles Colson deeply analyzes the problems of this type of experiment in his book. Let's first look at the experiments on amino acids. Amino acids come in two forms, left-handed amino acids and right-handed amino acids. Only left-handed amino acids can build life. Amino acid experiments, such as the Miller-Urey experiment, will produce both types of amino acids at the same time, and each accounts for half. There is no evidence that the power of nature alone can automatically separate left-handed amino acids from mixed products and then build life. Let's look at protein experiments. In terms of building life, the amino acids in proteins must be linked in a specific order, otherwise they are useless. However, in protein production experiments represented by Sidney W. Fox's experiment, all they obtained were chaotic random sequences. There is also no evidence that the power of nature alone can automatically select left-handed amino acids and link them into proteins in the order required to build life, thereby building life. If we further understand the details of the experiment, we will find that even to produce organic matter useless for building life, the experiment must be intervened by humans. For example, a certain component must be separated in time to prevent the chemical reaction from continuing and transforming into other components. The ultraviolet rays with longer wavelengths are filtered out, and only the ultraviolet rays with shorter wavelengths are used to prevent the amino acids that scientists want to obtain from being decomposed by long-wave ultraviolet rays. All these things show us that this kind of experiment, which claims to simulate the evolution of life in the original ecology of the early natural world of the Earth, has to rely on one or another means of artificial intervention. However, it is the various human interventions paying all efforts that allow us to see another meaning of such experiments. As Charles Colson said in the book, these experiments prove that the process of building life can only be guided, controlled, and manipulated by an intelligent subject. The latest scientific discoveries do not make the biblical faith lose credibility. On the contrary, they provide positive evidence that the origin of life requires an intelligent subject, a creator. Thank you for watching this video. The topic in the video is from Chapter 8 of Charles Colson's Golden Award-winning book, How Now Shall We Live? Links to some of Charles Colson's books are listed below the video. May God bless you.